chosen one. Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you, because right now, as you hear these words, the law of return is being activated over your situation. It's not some vague principle or wishful thinking. It's a living, breathing law set in motion right now, right where you are. There are people who attacked you. They plotted, they schemed, they pulled strings in the dark, believing nothing would ever ricochet, believing the chosen could be targeted without consequence. But as I speak, I want you to see this clearly. There is a spiritual boomerang, and it does not miss its mark. Let me take you behind the curtain so you see what this law of return looks like in real life. Right now, while you may feel the sting of betrayal, the emptiness where friends once stood, the bills stacking up because somebody lied about you and cost you a contract, look deeper. While you sit in that silence, unsure if what you lost will ever be restored, there is a reversal already at work, turning back everything fired in your direction. That word they spoke against you, wishing your dreams would collapse, it's echoing back, multiplying as it spins, picking up speed each time they mention your name. They thought they sent an arrow, but the arrow turned in the air. Try as they might, fighting the air with rituals and accusations, they can't grasp it now. Let me show you exactly how it starts for them, because the law of return is not just a theory. It shows up in their bank account, in their health, their sleep, their opportunities. First, the finances. They once bragged about sudden deals, easy money, cash that flowed like water. So sure they could buy influence against you, so proud as they made payments to silence you, to create drama, to bend hearts against you. But right now their account is draining. Not just a slow leak, whole sums disappearing, unexpected bills eating up their margins. An invoice they counted on gets reversed. A client backs out with no warning. One refund after another, and suddenly every transfer they made to hurt you leaves a bigger hole than they imagined. The money they threw against you turns to sand. I want you to feel this. They call their bank, trying to explain transactions they don't recognize. They try to hustle up a new opportunity, but every door is double locked. Every gatekeeper shifts the deadline. Every project gets stuck at the last step. There's a chill when they look at their phone, seeing the same red numbers you once saw, the same late fees that kept you up at night. The law of return measures it back. Not just dollar for dollar, compounded, pressed down, shaken together, running over in a way that can't be traced back to logic. Let me tell you what's happening in their relationships now. People who once formed a circle around them, cheering as they came after you, now those allies scatter. The confidences leak out. Suddenly texts go unanswered, calls drop in the middle of the night. It's not just inconvenience, it's exposure. Someone lets slip a secret they trusted you would never hear. Someone shares a story that turns the crowd against them effortlessly. Where laughter was once shared at your expense, now suspicion replaces it. They look around their gatherings and realize nobody is truly loyal. The shadow of what they did to you hangs heavy, and nobody wants to catch the fallout. The friends who held the ladder as they climbed are nowhere to be found when the rungs break. And there they are, alone in the spotlight they sought. Every whisper, every snub, every fake smile, a reminder of how quickly tables turn. That's the law of return. Loneliness where they sowed exclusion, public embarrassment where they wished you silence. Let me break this down for you. Health is next. That anxiety they projected onto you, those sleepless nights they hoped you'd suffer. The law of return doesn't just even the score, it plants the experience in their body. Symptoms with no name appear. The sudden heartbeat at 3 a.m., a pressure in their chest that won't fade, eyes wide open in the dark as panic mounts. They Google symptoms, try new supplements, repeat old affirmations, but nothing soothes them. Doctor visits yield nothing concrete, only more uncertainty. Tests come back clear, but their body says otherwise. Migraines, aches that move from joint to joint, fatigue so deep they can't fake it. Now every night is a fresh worry. They toss, turn, take pills, pray to whatever power they once mocked you for trusting. But relief doesn't come. The law of return in their very flesh, sleeplessness and unrest cycling back stronger each time. Where they once wished you unrest, now their own peace is on permanent lockdown. Now let me take you deeper, into the 3 a.m. unraveling. Chosen one, right now as you listen, picture them in their room, covers thrown back, sweat on their forehead, heart racing. Their phone screen glows as they scroll through old messages, looking for reassurance, for the old power that came with stirring drama. But nothing brings relief. Every thought that once made them feel superior now comes back as accusation. What if I get found out? What if everybody leaves? What if this is all my fault? Their mind cycles, worst-case scenarios, humiliations they never dreamed could be theirs. They try to bargain, maybe if I apologize, maybe if I make one more call. But the line is dead, nobody picks up. Hands shaking, they look for distraction, streaming, social media, a new meme. But the laughter they crave isn't there. It's just static, noise that grates on the nerves. They try breathing exercises, then pills, then stand at the window watching headlights roll down the street, praying the morning will bring a shift. But when the sun actually rises, it carries no relief. Just exhaustion. New things broken. Another bill due. Another ghosted client. Another friend gone silent. This is the raw law of return, exacted at the hour they once hoped you'd break. This 3 a.m. is not just a moment. They feel the edge of consequences they can't escape. Their own words bounce off the empty walls, no comfort, only a mirror reflecting what they tried to plant in you. Let me show you what gets torn down in their work and reputation. The law of return comes to their platform. Suddenly, all their efforts to appear strong collapse under scrutiny. Complaints surface, partnerships break, somebody pulls out of a big collaboration at the last second. Their public smile cracks under rumors. Did you hear? Whispers start. Is it true? The trust they depended on is gone. No testimony to fix it, no spin to cover it. They try one more PR push, another post, another email blast, but the engagement drops, unsubscribes spike, and nobody believes the image they are selling. The law of return pulls down their influence, not with a bang, but a slow fade. Every silent unfollow a signal from heaven that the seats they stole will be returned to the righteous. Those who celebrated their boldness now avoid association. Once they ruined your name with a phone call, now their own phone doesn't ring. It's a reversal, swift, public, irreversible. Let me explain the last piece, the spiritual unrest. The law of return is never just circumstance or bad luck. It presses on their soul. Where you once felt heavy and couldn't explain it, now the weight sits on them. Every prayer feels blocked. Every meditation brings anxiety, not peace. The guides and gurus they once praised for teaching them manipulation are silent now. Nothing opens for them. Their dreams become troubled. They look for signs, for voices, for spiritual shortcuts, but encounter only static and cold. The law of return draws a line in the unseen, declaring enough, and sealing them out from the rest and revelation they mocked. It's spiritual quarantine. What they wished, confusion, closed doors, relentless unrest, finds them, marks them, sits heavy so that even their laughter turns bitter. Even their victories feel hollow. Heaven has judged the case. The law of return is answered. Chosen one, hear me now. They wanted you to break, but you stood taller. They hoped for your ruin, but God wrote restoration. They plotted sleeplessness for you, but now their own pillow is haunted. They tried to steal connections from you, but now their own circle falls apart. Every lie they tossed is boomeranging back. Every trap they planned is a pit they now approach. You walked through fire but emerged. You spent nights in the wilderness but came out clean. Heaven saw, Heaven weighed, and now, overnight suddenly right now, the law of return is at work. Vindication rises as their plans collapse. The curse breaks as the blessing returns. This is your decree moment. What was lost comes back multiplied. The circle they closed on you opens wide. They wanted silence, but you'll sing. They wanted shame, but you'll shine. They wanted an ending, but heaven gives you a beginning. Suddenly, overnight, now. Chosen one, let me take you deeper, because the law of return is not merely about watching tables turn. It is the door swinging open into vindication, public, undeniable, the kind that leaves people whispering, how did they survive? How did they rise again? There was a time not too long ago when you could barely hold your head up in their presence, when every room felt hostile and every email was a threat. You know what it is to feel the world shrink down to the square of a dark room, to wonder if your name would ever be spoken without a stain. But right now, in this very moment, God is preparing a stage nobody but you can walk across. Vindication is not a silent event. It's the roar after the earthquake, the applause when the curtains go up and the truth stands in the spotlight, unashamed. Let me show you what vindication looks like when it's more than talk, when it's flesh and blood reality. Suddenly, the doors they tried to bar you from are not just open, but swinging in rhythm with your steps. Right now, deals start finding you, contracts you didn't chase, opportunities that come looking with your name already written at the top. The same people who once closed their office door in your face now send invitations for lunch. The rooms where you were once the ghost are filled with your name, spoken respectfully, sometimes with fear. Word spreads. Something's shifted. Did you hear about them? They're back, but it's different this time. The energy changes, and those who once laughed at your collapse can't meet your eye. New doors swing open, connections form without your effort, and the very places where you were mocked become settings for your next breakthrough. This isn't revenge, it's restoration. This is the evidence that nothing sent against the chosen can land without meeting a wall of return. Let me tell you what happens next, because right now the vindication expands beyond you. It starts to heal places that never even tasted justice. Your reputation, once stripped and twisted by rumor, gets rebuilt with bricks no man can remove. People reach out quietly, seeking forgiveness, or simply acknowledging, I was wrong. I believed the wrong story. Meetings happen that never would have. Conversations that used to chill your bones now reveal new allies and silent supporters. Those who once said nothing good can come from them are left startled because favor has a scent, and suddenly it follows you. There are administrative systems and institutions now turning in your favor. Approvals that once delayed for months are suddenly released. Government, business, academia, medicine, whatever sphere they tried to block you in, something higher overrides. This is what vindication looks like lived out, not just wished for. People call, gifts arrive without explanation, and where you once abandoned, dreams. Doors creak open waiting for you to return and claim your place. The harvest comes home, pressed down and running over. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment when despair pressed your chest and squeezed your hope, each now accounted for, each written in the ledger of God's relentless justice. Let me show you how vindication shifts you into something even bigger, a commission. Chosen one, the law of return is not just about surviving the storm. It's about being sent out in power because you survived. There are assignments coming to you right now as you read this. Not tasks you choose to prove yourself, but callings that arrive precisely because you are proven. God does not waste pain. Every night you wept, every hour you spent defending yourself just bought you authority others cannot fake. Because only the one who has been slandered can be trusted to challenge slander. Only the one who has lost can truly lead others toward restoration. Only the one who has wandered the wilderness can carry a map through it. Suddenly, strangers reach for your wisdom, asking, "How did you make it? Show me the way through." Boards and committees and teams that never saw you before now bend an ear, inviting your voice to the table. You become the reference point, a safe harbor, not because you begged for it, but because your survival sings louder than any manufactured authority. God commissions you to lift those who are still limping, still exiled, still doubting if justice lives. Your scars are Holy Spirit credentials, genuine, trustworthy evidence that darkness can fall, but light never leaves for good. Let me break it down for you. This commission is not a crown you take off at night. It sits on you everywhere, when you walk into grocery stores and people strike up conversations they never would have dared. When friends you lost now return asking for prayer and counsel, when young ones stand at your side eager to receive impartation. You do not need to announce your restoration. The aroma of it walks ahead and behind. Where doors were slammed, windows now open. Where laughter echoed at your expense, now quiet respect grows. Where they ghosted you, invitations fill your inbox. The commission doesn't just restore what was lost, it multiplies, expands, equips you to do for others what nobody once did for you. New ideas grow sharp in your mind. New strength you didn't have before pulses in your words. New armors, confidence, clarity, favor, clothe you every morning. You move as one who knows both grief and glory, and nothing can imitate that gravity. Let me take you into the next blessing, the quiet authority of joy. This is not the giddy laughter of someone who's never been tested. This is the profound peace of knowing you endured. The night seems shorter. The morning comes sweeter. There are days now when you wake up and realize, I'm not waiting for the next attack. I'm building again. You taste your own, cooking and savor it slowly because you remember when food lost its flavor. You walk through your home, straightening pictures on the wall, and realize nobody can take this peace from you. You answer old calls without dread. You watch the sun set and don't fear the coming dark because night is no longer the enemy. Sleep returns, sometimes suddenly, sometimes gradually. But the rest it brings is so pure you find yourself singing under your breath. You laugh quietly at first, then louder, and then from your belly until the whole house fills with a new atmosphere. The law of return has pressed out the poison, scrubbed the stain, painted the walls with colors only God could invent. Let me show you how the world begins to watch. Where before enemies assembled to see your downfall, now a crowd assembles to watch your resurrection. The rumor mill, which never tired of spinning tales about your defeat, now runs dry, replaced by stories of your recovery, your generosity, your new strength. Old adversaries who mocked you find themselves grudgingly respecting the tenacity they could not break. Even those who never knew the details sense the shift. They were down, but they're not out. What happened? Testimonies scatter and travel, reaching ears you'd never imagine. The law of return writes stories for you, stories nobody can erase. Reporters, bloggers, public voices try to explain it with their own reasons. Maybe it was luck. Maybe they had a quiet supporter. Maybe it was all overstated in the first place. But you know, those with spiritual eyes know. It was heaven. It was justice. It was a return that could not be stopped. Let me break this down. Healing is not just for your enemies to witness, but for you to walk in every day. You are free to take up space again. No apology, no shrinking, no pretending. The commission is not a promise for tomorrow, it's a calling for now. The law of return did not just end the old agony, it established you in a new position. Better than before, higher than before, with more wisdom, more empathy, more fire. You don't just live, you lead. You don't just recover, you build. You don't just show scars, you show the healed flesh. Now hear this decree, let it thunder in your bones. What was set against you broke into pieces. What tried to chain you fell beneath your feet. The whisper campaigns fell silent, but your voice carried. Every door they locked burst open. Every exile ended in invitation. Every loss returned with something richer attached. They meant it for evil, but God weaponized it for your commission. They expected your silence, but your testimony rings out. They plotted your erasure, but your legacy takes root deeper. They hoped isolation would shrink you, but solitude grew you. They never expected to see you laugh again, but now joy is your armor. What was designed to drain you only filled your well. What was stolen is now returned with interest. Right now, overnight, as you stand, here vindication is permanent. Commission is confirmed. And the law of return is not finished. Its harvest has only begun. From this moment you walk in overflow. From this hour, what heaven decreed cannot be reversed. Suddenly, irrevocably. Now, chosen one, let me carry you even further, because right now, yes, right now as you breathe, there is more happening in your favor than you can see. The law of return is not finished with you, and vindication is only the starting gun. What's happening in the invisible is erupting into the visible. Do not think for a moment that your story ends with the gavel of justice striking and the crowd falling silent. You are being appointed as a sign to every silent sufferer who wondered if light would ever break through. Before, you were marked by setbacks. Now you are marked by divine endorsement. You used to walk in shadow, but now glory walks ahead of you, making every uneven place smooth. Let me show you exactly how reversal becomes legacy. Right now, your history is being rewritten in the mouths of others. Those who watched you fail, who called you foolish for hoping, are stunned by the change. In workplaces, neighborhoods, even in the homes of those who dismissed you, your name now carries a weight you never had when you tried to force your way in. Before, they saw you through filters. Lies posted online, gossip traded in back rooms, labels that felt like a second skin. Now the truth rolls over the old stories like cleansing fire. There comes a moment right now when those who doubted you have to recalibrate. They ask themselves in hushed voices, how did we get it so wrong? Was it always this obvious? Reputation is restored, not by argument or self-defense, but by the undeniable evidence of your renewed favor. Deals closing, doors unlocking, relationships mending, invitations multiplying. Administrative obstacles bow out. Suddenly, what used to require 10 signatures and a miracle takes only a gentle knock and your name on the application. There is an ease that cannot be faked, a yes in places built to tell you no. Let me break this open even more. Vindication doesn't just heal your present, it undoes the curses placed over your past. Every label, every record, every stain they tried to tie to your identity comes undone in the court of heaven and filtered down through the timelines of men. Archival searches now reflect your comeback, not your collapse. Performances once sabotaged are now footnotes to remarkable returns. The people who deleted you from their phone come looking for your number again. Supervisors who once blacklisted you now start every meeting with your name on their lips. Has anyone checked in with them yet? You are no longer referenced by your wounds but by your wisdom. The space you occupy becomes sacred ground, not through bravado, not by shaming those who left, but simply by being, standing, breathing, working in that new confidence. This is how God works, the law of return. Not as punishment for your enemies alone, but as a rebuilding of every ripped-apart place in you. Let me bring you into the next layer. Commission is not just spiritual, it's practical. You see it in your bank account swelling after years of scraping by. Old debts are cleared up, not painfully but almost quietly, as if heaven pays invoices invisible to others. An unexpected bonus, a forgotten inheritance, a side project suddenly thriving just when you thought to lay it down. Where you used to count every penny and fear the end of each month, now you witness provision that outpaces your needs. Food on your table, roof over your head, extra enough to bless someone else. Where before you used to pray desperate prayers just for survival, now you catch yourself praying, God, who else do you want me to help? Who can I rescue with this overflow? The difference is tangible. Neighbors ask you for advice. Family members who dismissed your faith start watching you to see if your God is real. You become a touchstone, the proof that the law of return is neither myth nor ancient history, but a force that operates in modern time, in real circumstances, in the mundane and the miraculous alike. Let me take you into your relationships, because right now, the story of isolation is ending. This is not about surrounding yourself with more people, but with the right ones, those appointed, not attached by convenience or toxic need. You suddenly see a new caliber of friendship, honest, sturdy, unafraid of your truth. People come shoulder to shoulder with you, not to leech off your blessing, but to walk in the same river. There is an ease and a safety. You do not have to explain or defend anymore. Those who used to sneer now listen. Those who competed now submit. You start to notice that even your laughter draws a crowd. Where they once hoped for you to stumble, now they see you steady, emitting a peace they cannot manufacture. These new companions are drawn not by your performance, but by your presence. They want what's genuine, what's been tested, what survived the fire. God sets the solitary in families, and for you that promise is manifesting in living color, in real names, in embrace and trust. The law of return fills your house with voices of celebration, not suspicion. Children run and laugh where there once was only mourning. Grudges melt, forgiveness grows. You are not isolated anymore, you are established. Let me tell you, the law of return does not stop at restoring what was lost. It ignites unimagined impact. You become the very antidote to the poison they tried to put in your mouth. Right now, doors open internationally, not just locally. Platforms you never applied for now chase you. Cities you have never visited call. Clubs you never joined send requests. Organizations you left behind want you back, this time as a leader, not an outsider. Opportunities stack, and you don't have to compromise to walk through them. When you speak, the atmosphere bends. Those in authority listen with sudden humility. Where laws and rules once conspired to hem you in, now policies shift for your benefit. Exceptions are made, examples set with your testimony at their center. Let me take you into your own soul, because restoration is not just on the outside. There is a calm that used to terrify you because you thought it meant the next storm was brewing. But this is the peace that passes understanding. You can sit in a room, undistracted, unafraid of the next text, no longer waiting for the other shoe to drop. Old triggers fade. Your physical body begins to heal from illnesses picked up during the stress years. Blood pressure drops. Headaches ease. Your sleep becomes deep and full. You dream again, and in those dreams you run, you sing, you laugh without fear. The scars remain, but they are no longer raw. They are reminders that healing is more powerful than any wound. Rest is now your portion. Anxiety cannot take up residence where grace has set down its roots. Let me show you what happens with your enemies. This reversal is not about their shame. It's about the clear, unshakable proof that heaven had the final word. They can no longer shape your narrative. They watch from a distance as the things they called impossible for you become your daily portion. Those who invested in your downfall realize they were only sponsoring your testimony. The bitterness they tried to seed in your soul blossoms in their own garden, but what you reap is joy, strength, clarity. You pray for them, not as a victim, but as one who has tasted absolute victory. You do not need to seek revenge. Your elevation does the talking. There is no haughtiness in you, only quiet authority. The ones who tried to make an example of your pain now become the example of what happens to those who lift their hand against the chosen. The world sees your turnaround and learns, God is not mocked, and he never abandoned his own. Chosen one, let these next words settle in your spirit. Everything stolen is now restored in abundance. Every false word spoken is drowned out by the chorus of truth. Every gate closed in your face now stands perpetually open. Every alliance formed against you dissolves like mist. You walk in the fulfillment, not the theory of restoration. Favor wraps around you like a banner. Provision multiplies at your feet. Joy flows in your veins. You impact generations, not just your own life. Your enemies bow, your friends rejoice, your family expands. Your laughter is heard in the city and the field. Your testimony silences accusers. The seat they tried to remove you from has become your permanent place. The law of return, written over your life, signed with vindication, sealed with commissioning, releases you into days greater than anything that has gone before. Suddenly, irrevocably now, you live in the overflow. Chosen one, as you sit with these words, feel the weight of what is settling around you right now. There's a fragrance of fresh oil on your life, a mark that cannot be counterfeited, a sign that heaven has done what no hand on earth could undo. This is not just the era of your recovery, but the era of your authority. See how every wound has become a window, every bruise a badge, every scar a story. The old pain may still flicker in memory, but it no longer locks your future. What broke you shaped you. What shamed you crowned you. What once twisted your nights into restless agony has given way to mornings that answer before you even ask. That's the evidence of the law of return working in real time. Let me show you the next measure of the reversal. A confidence that walks before you, announcing peace even in rooms where conflict once lived. You don't have to justify your presence or explain your authority. It is recognized when you enter. Everything has shifted. People who once tested your boundaries now honor them without being told. Old bosses, former friends, even those distant relatives who only used to call when gossip broke out, now approach carefully, measuring their words. Because what they sense on you is the force of vindication, solid, unyielding. You do not seek validation, but those around you sense the shift and adjust themselves. When you speak, hesitant agreements turn into eager consensus. Where you used to strain just to find an audience, now you have influence that multiplies. It's not noisy or boastful. It's the ease of knowing your life's direction is sovereignly guided, not dictated by the moods of men. Let me take you into how this reversal shows up in your daily walk. Suddenly, errands are not just chores, they are assignments. Walking into a room feels different because you recognize the posture of someone who is standing under open heavens. You do not shrink, you expand. You do not apologize for taking up space, you redefine it. The same streets that once felt hostile now feel woven for your favor. Where you once sped past people anxious to get home unseen, now you pause and connect. Strangers greet you by name. Store clerks give you discounts you didn't request. Unexpected moments of kindness and favor fall like secret rain. Mail that used to stress you now brings opportunity. Even your pets rest easier. There is a life-giving wind in your house, a tangible difference in atmospheres you frequent. You become the thermostat, not the thermometer. Rooms adjust to your presence, not the other way around. Now let me show you the reversal in your inner life, right at the level of thoughts and emotions that used to cycle you into despair. The running questions: will this season ever end? Did I make a mistake coming this far? Have lost their grip. Now there's a baritone confidence ringing inside. I am meant to be here. I am kept. I am chosen. Anxiety that used to flare without warning now bows to peace that's steady, mature, and honest. When old doubts try to rise, something deeper answers quickly. No, not this time. My losses trained me, but my restoration crowns me. There is a steadiness to your joy, a rootedness like oak and iron, slow to anger, quick to hope, almost immune to the little insults and the background static of drama. Even the big storms hardly move you now. You can feel their winds, but you don't bend, and you never break. The foundation under you is not built by affirmation or popularity. It's built by having survived the season where applause couldn't reach you, where silence was your only audience. Let me pull you into the commission that marks this hour. Right now, you are not just restored, you are released. There are voices calling for you that don't even know your name yet, destinies you haven't seen but have already begun looking for you. When heaven commissions, it doesn't consult your resume. It looks at how you handled the midnight hour. Your calling starts moving beyond the places you suffered, reaching those caught in the very traps you escaped. It is not enough to have survived. Now you become a signal, a guidepost, a gate for others to walk through. Out of your old shaking comes authority to prophesy calm to someone else's storm. Out of your detours, you chart true courses for the lost. Veteran hardship has become the passport to new realms of purpose. People sense it on you, even when you don't advertise. You are given platforms you once only dreamed of. Books, podcasts, partnerships, invitations. They come not from striving, but from standing in what God has built in you. No one can take it. No enemy can reverse it. Let me show you, chosen one, what happens when you step into this commission. Needs stretch beyond what you ever thought you would be able to fill. Yet God answers each one through your surrendered yes. Ministries spring up that bear your fingerprints, even if your name isn't on the wall. Legacies grow where loss tried to make a desert. You find yourself saying yes to things you would have run from before. Not from pressure, but from readiness. Not to prove, but to pour. Every hesitancy is replaced by a generosity of spirit. It almost shocks you how little you resent the calls for help now. Your trauma has transmuted into discernment. You sense who is worth sowing into. You recognize familiar pain in others. Your words cut through confusion like sunlight scattering night. Where you once questioned your value, now you know it beyond argument. Identity is not a performance. It's the overflow of an encounter with divine return. Let me take you past the outward blessing to the secret commissions nobody else sees. There will be favor you never broadcast, miracles that only you and God know about. Provision will come in envelopes, in meals left at the door, in debts inexplicably erased, health that returns overnight, isolation that fades, old enemies who move to distant cities, new allies who sit quietly, holding up your arms when days get heavy. There will be restoration you don't post online, family members who reconcile, apologies in the most unlikely places, sons and daughters who return home with tears and laughter. Cycles broken that held your bloodline captive for generations. In all this, the law of return is not a distant hope, but a guarantee echoing in your daily rhythms. Your children benefit, your neighbors benefit. The city where you reside feels lighter, more possible. Let me tell you, this reversal positions you differently in the spirit. You used to pray only for escape. Now you decree transformation. Before you only interceded for survival. Now you establish new territory. There is an authority in your voice that calls things out, names them, marks them for blessing, or exposes them for removal. You are trusted with secrets, not because of what you know, but what you survived. People lean in, wanting to know what survival sounds like, wanting to drink from a river whose source they cannot trace. Where you go, healing follows. Where you dwell, peace deepens. Your house becomes known as a refuge. Your table is never empty. The law of return has turned your wilderness into a watchtower, your grave into a garden. And now, the closing decree is upon you. Settle this in your bones. They wanted to see you buried, but heaven raised you as a banner. They wanted your story to end in disgrace, but now you are the headline of grace. They locked you out, but angels handed you keys no man can take. They cursed your name, but your name now opens rooms and clears obstacles. They laughed at your dreams, but your dreams picked up speed and ran past every critic. They wanted you stuck, but God gave you wings. They tried to erase your mark, but now your imprint is everywhere. On lives, on stories, on the very soil you walk. What the enemy destroyed, God rebuilt stronger. What you lost returned sevenfold. Right now, overnight, in one unexplainable wave after another, you stand restored, vindicated, commissioned, and crowned. Every door you walk through from this moment is drenched in favor. Every field you plant bears harvest out of season. Every word you speak shapes futures. Chosen one, by the law of return, your increase does not end here. It multiplies, expands, and floods forward. Suddenly and for all to see now.